Hello. It's time for a contemplation. Whatever it is that you are doing right now, you feel the need to quiet your thoughts. Maybe you're turning in for the night, getting ready to go to sleep. Maybe you're just having a time during the day where you just need some quiet time. Either way, you need to quiet down these thoughts that are racing through your head for some reason or another. So let's right now, you don't have to close your eyes, you don't have to lay down, you don't have to sit with perfect posture in a chair, just whatever you feel comfortable doing. Get into that space and start considering this. The universe. That's a lot, right there, just one word. Then add the word consciousness. So, universal consciousness. Universal consciousness is perfection. In order for perfection to exist, it must be intelligence. Intelligence itself. To understand the timelessness of the universe, it must be eternity itself. To understand the spacelessness of the universe, it must be infinity itself. Consider this. Now, consider yourself as well as each individual. This universal consciousness that is perfection, intelligence, eternity, and infinity itself. Each and every one of us. Here and now. It is not what it appears to be at all. I'm not talking about something that is six senses or that is experienced or perceived from what we think of as the human experience. This is not what it appears to be. Consider this. It's a lot to consider. It certainly puts it into the perspective of something that we ordinarily wouldn't think about in our everyday lives. And yet, as we consider this, it makes sense that we don't have to understand who we are from the human perspective, because I'm not talking about something that's really what we would call human. Some people like to use the word God. That's fine. I choose to use the word universe. Some people choose to use the word meditation or prayer. Those words are fine. I choose to use the word contemplation. Consider this. As you consider this, you pay less attention to those thoughts that are racing through your head, because most likely those thoughts are just something that would pull you back into your everyday life, which you can't deny, but at the same time, you need to quiet down those racing thoughts so that you have some clarity, some focus, purpose, and understanding about why this moment is so important, why you need to keep your mind open or clarify something so that you don't have difficulty sleeping, or you don't have difficulty in getting back to the chore, whatever it was that you were working on before you started this meditation. You need clarity so that you can go on to the next thing that you need to do. So understand that is why it's important to not allow those thoughts to dominate your attention. Contemplate the universe, what that means in its totality. Sometimes the greatest understanding comes in the silence. Just like when we have conversations, sometimes what gets the most communicated is that silence between the words, or that silence between the sentences when we speak with someone. This is from my book, The Universe According To Nowman. It's a contemplation exercise, I guess you could say. Consider the moment, the here and now, wherever you seem to be right now. What is really important? Did you get some food for the soul as well as the belly? Do you have a roof over your head during the daytime? Look up in the sky at some point. Do you have enough clothing to wear on your physical body? Are you open, or have you covered your soul? Open up. Consider this. What is consciousness? Consciousness is usually defined and understood as awareness. But consciousness is also substance that manifests as forms. Consciousness is not what it appears to be, but it is real. It is so much more than what words can give it to define it. We have to include, and even this is limited because it's language, we have to include what we might call the feeling. It is substance and form, but it's also feeling, it's understanding, it's knowing that it is real, it does exist. We can sense its existence, whether or not we think we can see consciousness. We still feel that it is real. And words using language are limited, but it does resonate. The light bulb does come on. Those are kind of symbols of what I'm talking about, of awakening, of awareness. We know it's real. Whether or not we can seem to attach a human explanation or a human example of manifested form or not, we are aware that consciousness exists. And we are aware that consciousness exists because we are consciousness itself. So in knowing ourselves, we would have to know, consciousness would have to know itself. It is all. And we are essential to its completeness, to the completeness that it is. And as we consider this, it makes sense. So, consider this. We can tune in the outside sounds or what's in our room if we keep our eyes open, or the space where we are if we keep our eyes open. But we can also just stay focused on the here and now, the consciousness, the universal consciousness. Understanding that there are no lines of demarcation. The universe is unlimited. The universe is infinity itself, eternity itself, perfection itself, infinity itself. So are you. So am I. But when I say you and I am not talking about human material beings. I'm talking about something that is spiritual. And even that word doesn't really fully explain what it is. We just know what it is when we allow that understanding to awaken us within. We know that we know what it is. We know that we know who we are. We only appear to be human beings in this human shell. We are actually that. Consciousness manifested. Consider this. It is especially important in these times to understand how to quiet the thoughts down that seem to be racing, how to stay focused on what is true priority and not get distracted. But also to find ways to reach out to others and help them. Because in times of crisis, especially when we are in a global crisis, multiple global crises, it is important to be open to help others, and vice versa, if need be, to be able to accept help. We are all one and the same consciousness manifested as the whole. And as we are in unprecedented times, it becomes even more important to pay attention, to connect with those around you, however you can. This is a meditation that can be used for any occasion, but specifically quieting down the racing thoughts that could be going through or are going through your mind. And you need to get to sleep, or you need to not be distracted in your daytime activity, or whatever that might be. One of my teachers used to talk about the dream. The dream she referred to as illusion. And with illusion, things are not the way they appear to be. If something real didn't exist, you wouldn't be aware of the illusion about it. A very profound statement. Consider this. Sometimes the greatest revelations come in those moments of silence in between the words, freeing the mind from so many different things that it could dwell on. That's true understanding, when you're able to allow yourself to let those wandering thoughts go. Just let them go. So for now, here and now, focus on universal consciousness, intelligence, perfection, eternity, infinity, here and now. Stay present, always.